You know the drill. Early access to normal Wednesday videos, 2 weeks early access to One Piece videos, vote what I cover, get your name read out, and so much more on Patreon, link below. Wow! Okay, so in the last video I said, look at how giant Moria is. Then I saw the Luffy zombie and was like, look at how huge it is compared to him, and now look at him compared to the mast. In a weird way, it's kind of sad to see him trying to use his rubber skills all the time and being unable to. Isn't it impressive that you can tell who everyone is down below in spite of the huge difference? I mean, Moria is easy, obviously, but you can see the others too, which is cool. He says after having spent like a solid 30 odd seconds jumping up there over and over again. You know what time it is? It's Chopper is the cutest ever time, baby. I know people didn't like it, and I totally understand that, but from the arc where they fought Foxy, Zoro made it clear how an enemy's size means nothing to him if you can recall that game with Sanji. Another in a long line of extremely likeable Luffy moments as he knocks the notion on the head of going after their shadow zombies and instead going right after Moria so everyone wins, including the old man who first told them about it a while ago. Endeavor, Sanji! Sanji legit looking a little scary there after Usopp told him that Invisitude also spied on Nami in the bath. Chopper already had the cute win, but oh my goodness, moments like this also melt my heart. Also, fun fact, my wife has now bought me 2 Chopper figurines. Let's go! Context! Frankie is talking about going and helping out Brock because he's worried that he might lose his fight to the Shadow. I really like how he now cares so much for the guy. But also another win, because once more the crew is being split into smaller groups. Usopp and Sanji heading for Nami, Frankie and Zoro to help Brock, and Luffy is after Moria. It's so good! That massively over-the-top reaction, but definitely also Luffy pointing out the obvious here. Usopp immediately proving one of his greatest helpful abilities as part of the crew, as this is clearly what he was working on before the end of the last video with his little table. And some context, Usopp just gave them all a very valid warning that they have to wrap this up before morning, because the island will still be hit by sunlight. Glad that wasn't forgotten. A whole bunch of animation done at a distance. They're ready to counterattack on the spot. This high up view likely showing around about a solid 35% of the entire ship. A clever way to show us another use of her ability. Personally, I'm pleased that there's more to it than she can use Ghost to make people sad. That this is being treated as a genuine problem, with Hogback going on to claim that there's no way that they woke up so quickly. It also helps lore-wise to understand how the shadow process normally works. This is also another nice twist, that the zombies are aware that Luffy and the others can now undo the Devil Fruit powers on them, and so they're not much of an obstacle anymore. How he's always going from one hilarious extreme to the other. First of all, really annoyed Invisitude isn't there, and now happy to hype people up at his wedding. Even if he does immediately change his mind, it's still funny. all got weird laughs?
爪の赤を煎じて飲めばいいクマシーの。
ありがとうございます。ではとっておきの2体をお借りいたします。
Don't get me even slightly wrong. This is absolutely hilarious to me, as you well know. But I also think the voice actor is nailing the role. He's so good. You can really feel and see the difference when Luffy is going all out now.
影のことどうでもいいのかな。
Love to see Robin just enjoying the moment. She doesn't even comment. She's just having fun.
断層霊登ってくるのは5人です。下の端に2人いずれも手に負えません。
Oh hell yes! I'm happy to see these sections return, like in the lobby, where we can see where everyone is located at the moment.
そんなおめえを解放してやった俺をしちゃうなら兄貴と呼んでもいいんだぜ。
Frankie hasn't had a ton of interactions with Zoro since joining the crew, so I did enjoy this little exchange. Not attractively running on the spot.
今のところ解決策は何も。
Another instance where people who were not directly involved in a situation obviously have no idea what is going on, as is the case with Usopp here. You just gotta throw some love in the face of Usopp here for getting them off Luffy and Sanji and getting them out of there so quickly.
ゴーストたちが追いかけてきたわ。
What a brilliant plot twist that Zombie Luffy actually came massively in hand here, and totally by chance as well. And take another, obviously, because I thought they'd all end up together on the safe side, but no, that's not the case at all.
落ちてきた2人のことはまあ置いといて。どういうことだこれは。
The groups have changed again already!
石じゃねえな。
ウェポンズレクション
Oars is so huge that they think this is a wall! Very briefly, once again giving us an update on where everyone is. Oh, now this is interesting, getting what is likely going to be our first matchup already. I dare say with both Luffy and Robin though, it'd be easy.
ホグバック。
なんだこのトナカイは。
Him not suddenly knowing that this is Chopper from before, given he never saw this version of his form before.
いきなりムリア様に会おうなどぶしつけな。
Hogback acting like Luffy's trying to skip levels in a video game.
お先にどうぞ、ルフィ。
Not sure how the throwing plates hindered Luffy quite so much, but definitely have a win for Robin getting involved and stopping her. Wow, they're doing a lot of animating at a long distance this arc.
サンジの影が入ってたやつだ。
じゃあもう一人の方。
It gets better as it's not Hogback and Dish Girl versus Robin and Chopper, but now Zombie G and Zorombi.
背中の傷は剣士の恥だ。
全然似てねえ。
This comment comes after thinking back to Luffy saying how alike Zoro was with Zorombi, and I loved that reaction.
いた。
I really didn't expect these two to end up meeting again so soon. I highly doubt it's going to go Luffy's way, given how long is left in the arc though, sadly.
ダメだ、もう終わりだ。俺たちを殺しに来たんだ。
How does he even do voice acting like this? There's everyone, me included, thinking he's going to attack them with a giant piece of stone from the building, and instead he's making a good old-fashioned hat for himself.
しかし困ったのはこの通路だな。
この装飾が不満だ。橋ができた。
That is just the best, and I'll tell you why. Because before Frankie joined, it'd be a twist in the story. How are we gonna get around this? And how he's here though, he's building stuff like this. So good! Not just saying he did it, moving on, but Frankie pointing out that there was tons of stone and wood everywhere that helped a lot.
この部屋なんだ?
Internal set design was done really nicely for this room, I think, adding a creepy, childish look to it, and the music certainly helped with that too.
私は霊体を自在に生み出すホロホロの実の霊体人間
Oh, that makes a lot more sense now. You know what? I had this thought since we got here. I really hope they're caused by a devil fruit power, and as it turns out, they are indeed. She may be potentially the most powerful enemy on the ship, and if only because she can move them so fast, and of course they, for now anyway, cannot be physically touched. Interesting foe.
そうだ野良犬などに踏まれたい
It really makes people say just the weirdest things.
乱れ打ちソルトスターうちのクルーに手出しはさせねえ
Don't know how we did it, maybe because of his personality or something, but heck yes, it's a true Usopp can shine moment. Our boy Usopp is totally immune, let's go!
ネガティブだ
Two wins. First half of this one is that pretty horrible reaction, but also the whole scene of him saying it. Secondly, it's for the spiraling rotating shot.
なのにこの男
No clue if that's some ruse or whatever, but her outlook on the future of the world and how positive it is was actually really wholesome when you put aside the villain thing. Or maybe she means it more like, I felt my power was impossible to resist because everyone should be positive about the future and thus are weak against it. Yeah, I think it's that. The battle took such a weird turn here, but Usopp screaming, "Don't try to cheer me on," is brilliant.
あいつは俺が引き受けたおめえ
Literally the first time Usopp has ever done this, and it's become apparent that he really is the only guy who can do it.
はーい腐れ誓いますアブ様大好き
Nami in a wedding dress. That though as well. So stupid. Perfect voice for it though. They somehow managed to make her lips look really nice, even super up close. A surprisingly detailed crowd shot of the enemies.
ありえないどう考えてもありえない
Even though Usopp is thinking to himself that he's screwed, this might be the first time I've seen a powerful enemy saying out loud how they're screwed. What a badass way of showing him staying on his feet after she hit him with 4 of them at the same time. Also though, it was good to see that she had more than one simple kind of attack, even if it was, for now anyway, the same attack, just done times 4.
ネガティブゴーストたちがネガティブマ
An absolutely brilliant joke to come up with for this.
ダメな方にすげえ自信だ
Such an odd superpower to have at this point. Holy dizzle! Usopp smashed that challenge like no one's business.
ソルトスター
Another brilliant joke that most anime never really address, how their heroes have to say words to then do the attack, rather than just doing it most of the time.
そろそろ完全に止まってもらいますよ。もう二度と影を奪い返しに来られぬように。
Probably one of the scariest moments of the arc because it just hit me. You could put someone in the cell or take away some limbs or whatever, and then they can't have their shadow back. Four great looking art style changes on the bounce.
やはず切り
His ability is so wild because it literally looked like they simply walked past one another.
ラブー。この悲運な私を謝りたい。
Ah, that is so sad. They're gonna make me tear up again at this rate, man.
寂しいな私の人生
Yeah, okay, that comment broke me then. Massive kudos to Cho for the voice acting greatness there too. Really felt the sadness in his voice and how he dragged out the words.
まずはもちろんこのアフロ
Oda making me hate this zombie version of him to an extreme degree because he's going after the afro purely to be cruel. No other reason. And it's made me real angry, like for real. Two quick different wins. Firstly, whatever this was, because it's a mystery and I do like them very much.
いたおい骸骨
And then, oh heck yes, Frankie and Zoro have turned up in time to help my boy.
おっと待ったお前か
Zoro is such a badass, I bet he's gonna struggle a lot more against Zoro now. Hype!
お前をぶっ飛ばす
Adding animation to that moment when they really didn't need to. Thankfully, him not getting the kiss on a sleeping Nami. Also, I'm guessing the intention here was to give him a Lola-esque type of scene, so that was well done too.
流されていますこの揺れは島ごとです
You know what this made my brain do? I thought about Luffy and the crew. The larger Sunny, the huge Moria, the massive zombie Luffy, and then the even bigger ship, yet it all pales against the vast sea.
そんなことにそれが例のスペシャルゾンビが適当に舵を切ってるようで
Oh yes, the first time we got to see the entire ship in full. Happy to witness the huge size of the mechanics behind turning the ship or moving it in general, because it's so large it really had to be something bigger than a wheel, you feel me?
ミネラルゾンビ今すぐ全員出撃せよオーズを止めろ足元から切り崩せ
You gotta admit, it's yet another great example of One Piece being anti-anime here. Oz was created with Luffy's shadow to obey, and now he's going so wild, they're trying to take him down.
消えたオーズはどこだ
A ton of animation done at a distance.
例の冒険の邪魔すな
Just like I wrote 2 wins back, who'd have thought he'd now be attacking his fellow zombies?
あいつらはこの島の最強のゾンビ軍団だぞジェネラルゾンビだぞ
If they keep on giving me shocking moments, I'm gonna keep on rewarding them wins for it. Or Oda, I mean. Because now the strongest zombies on the island are largely taken out.
ナミスワン
And as if his luck couldn't get any worse, just as he's worried about why Zombie Luffy isn't obeying and what is gonna happen to the ship at this rate, Sanji turns up.
すごいユーマに惜しかった
If you know me by now, you'll know that mixing this song with pretty much any somewhat cool scene raises its cool rating so high that it scores a win.
取り返しうるせえ黙ってろ
Not sure which is better, Brock not having predictable pride, no I've got to get my own shadow back, or Zoro telling him to be quiet because he's getting into the zone.
確かにこれは大技者21個の一本
Feels super fitting for Zoro to be taking on this challenge and hopefully getting a brand new sword to replace his one, which was destroyed in the last saga, plus it's another famous one too.
よしその刀俺が使っている
2 wins to round out the episode, Zoro doing what I said he'd do, but in the coolest way possible.
あなたかっこよすぎるガグ
And then finally Brock acting like this.
俺をぶっ飛ばすだと
ああそうだ
影は抜けやしねえよ
そうなのか
Great plot twist in all honesty, because we thought all along that taking him out would mean it'd undo all of the stealing of the shadows. So assuming he's telling the truth, that's shocking.
俺の能力 力はあくまで影の支配。
Let's be fair, whilst we're here as well, he makes for an interesting villain in how laid back he is. He's very different to the likes of Arlong, Krieg, Lucci and others.
そうだ、簡単だろう。俺をそこまで弱らせることができりゃいいが。
For context, he just told Luffy how to basically get what he wants. Which again, how different is that to everyone else? I know he's confident, but still. Ah, now that is interesting. So he has got more abilities than the single one. Makes perfect sense. Should have known Oda would give us more. Suminase sensei!
俺の分身、ドッペルマン。
You know what? Take another for the fact that it's a shadow clone, which makes perfect sense given his ability to remove shadows. Of course he's got control over his own.
他人の力で海賊王になる男。
For context, he's saying he won't lift a finger, and yet will become king of the pirates, and I just thought that nicely represented his personality that we've been talking about here. Ah, so that's why it's so similar to Luffy. At least a solid explanation was given.
ゴムゴムの
ブリックバッ
And have another for showing us that Luffy can actually make physical contact with the shadow. With him dodging, I for some reason thought he couldn't, but this will make for a better fight for sure. Not running away from shadow bats on the spot that looks so good I had to show it.
やられた。よし、やった。
I'm weird. I love it personally when his lying is used in combat, because when we first met him, such a huge deal was made out of that part of his personality.
じゃなくて、胡椒星。
Usopp being super smart by way of Oda in different ways than I could come up with. The best part is that this is exactly the kind of thing Usopp would carry around and has surely used before. And then him thinning the crowd is for some reason super exciting to me. It's like progression on a video game to me, maybe. Two wins here. Firstly, Usopp totally blindsided me as I thought he genuinely missed the shot, and then turns out he didn't. But also some really seen, so far this arc anyway, damage effect animation from the ceiling giving way here.
なんてやつだ。油断も隙もあったもんじゃねえ。
Talking about awesome twists, how about Usopp turning things around so much that now she is running away from him?
逃がしてたまるか。
So much not running on the spot this arc, I love it! It's funny, you know, I compared him to Teddy from Persona 4 like 2 videos ago, and now he's actually creepy given that he's attacking. Normally that wouldn't score a win, but I didn't expect them to be running side by side there. I'm so stupid. I really like her running scared, followed by a scared Usopp and then the bear. Basically the entire ship being affected in one way or another by Zombie Luffy. How this animation was done to really sell us in the size of him? Okay, go on then. Wedding dress Nami once again. I just enjoy these super long distance shots that show that in spite of how massive Zombie Luffy is, the ship itself is huge even compared to him. Like, it's not even close.
驚いた。まったく人騒がせな美しさ。
Even these zombies are shocked by the personality of Sanji.
妖精
The fact that he keeps on getting pulled into a fantasy where she's a goddess and then a fairy and so on.
天使
I'm convinced that Oda is like a master of comedy or something. Doing it with Sanji once was good, following up with another one is great, and now him doing the same? Come on, man!
おお焦った。無理もない。それは本当無理もない。
Oh, come on, guys!
レディのいる場所で人を巻き込むような攻撃は避けるべきだろう。
That's so good. I now know Sanji so well that I knew he'd be super angered by this attack, and I was spot on.
天女。おおびっくりした。
Even whilst he is being actively mocked and threatened, he still found the time to once again get caught up in another fantasy. This is what I was saying about Oda. Comedy legend.
の相手をしている暇は誰この顔面もじゃ祭りマン
Glad Sanji shut him up, and the first person has landed an attack on him, and a fairly big one too.
ウソップの言ってた透明人間ってのはお前だな。
Oh heck yes! It sounds like another new song, and it's yet another good one.
ティサの手
Wow, Sanji being genuinely so impressive to me this fight, more so than the start of any other one really, by firstly landing that huge painful attack, but now doing this. He's getting stronger too. Finding out that Sanji is being fueled extra this battle because of the things he had done to Robin and then Nami. Just like with the woman running away from Usopp, he's not also trying to retreat and still being messed up by a very angry Sanji.
俺とお前には因縁がある。
Usually that wouldn't count as a great ending to an episode and enough to score a win, but I don't know what he's talking about here, so yeah, take one for the confusion. It's not something I often notice, but I thought he had a bunch of detail on his face. It actually reminded me of the high level of detail you'd see on characters in JoJo. Gotta say, Sanji looks really badass there.
おいらと貴様は今日初めて会ったんだ。
そいつを外しな。
I am so confused. It's been brought up again. The last one from the prior episode, he stole a dream from Sanji. Now he's saying drop them. Is he making a weapon invisible?
その腕に仕込んだバズーカを外せと言ってんだ。
Yes, nailed it. You can run the tape back. I totally said that's what it was when he attacked Zombie G earlier on a couple of videos back. Super tote smart and everything.
言ったろうが
He actually knocked off the weapon. What an anime.
かつその体に触れたものをその間消しておくこともできる。それが今のお前の能力だ。
Love how they went the extra mile to show there's nothing there and then the weapon appears on his arm.
一生のうち万が一こんな能力に出会えたなら俺はたとえ金槌になろうとも食ってみてえと思っ
I'll be 100% real. I laughed when he finished this statement in spite of the seriousness, and it's because it hit me already. He wanted to be able to go invisible to spy on girls, right?
わかるか。俺は一度透明人間になってみたかったんだ。そうなったらその能力で女湯
Ha! I called it. I know Sanji way too well by this point.
この変態野郎が
おめえには
He deserved that awesome kick 1000%. If anyone shouldn't be saying that, it's absolutely him.
でも覗いたろうが
This battle is so different to normal, and all because Sanji is just so annoyed, as usually he's very chilled. So even after this guy talks all big, he's still thinking about how he peeped. I must admit, after how the fight had been going with Sanji kicking ass, and then just getting punched to the body whilst protecting Nami, to suddenly have a sword to the back, it shocked me.
俺はもう慣れなくたって構わねえ。
I think I've been talking about it now since the Foxy arc, but I always enjoy it when enemies are wowed by something someone in our crew does, such as this.
自力で覗く覗きはすんのかい
These guys are really making for some great background comedy moments during this entire scene.
いろいろ獣が混ざってんならいいひき肉ができそうだな。
Probably one of the most creepy things Sanji has ever said, but it sounded like a great threat all the same. Great stages to the battle. Sanji smashing it, him scoring a sadly huge hit on Sanji, and now Sanji is doing well again. Talking about great stages to the battle, I like how Oda shows one fight and then moves on to the next. He's been doing that a long time and I'm a fan of it. Keeps things fresh, I think. I'm glad he managed to land his first hit on Moria, especially in a clever way like that, smashing through the floor under him to get to him. So much not running on the spot though! I said Brock was my number one, but in all honesty, when Usopp pulls out reactions like this, with his extremely talented voice actor, he starts fighting for that spot again. So very much damage animation goodness, when we also haven't had much of it in quite some time. He can really be such a piss take, can't he? See, that's where he as a character, not to mention his voice actor, just absolutely nails the role for me. Good end to the episode, not only because of all the Usopp related wins, but also because the fight is getting more interesting now, since she's seemingly able to fly and now fight back. Showing us various stages of the destruction caused by our crew wrecking the place, plus Zombie Luffy earlier of course. Getting this perspective, so we not only know who is where, but also it shows how giant the hole was caused by Luffy's kick earlier. Damn man, he can't seem to catch a break versus this dude. Even though it's not effective for long, I did think it's good that he's basically experimenting right now, seeing which techniques can counter the other guys. She might have the weirdest laugh on the ship, but you can't deny that she's at least quite the unique character in her outlook on life. For the first time ever, actually going into some detail as to why his weapon is a huge improvement over his old one. Not to mention, I think it's awesome to include something from Sky Island again, like he uses stuff from there quite a fair bit. I don't know how she's doing it, if it's legit or just messing with his mind, but I really didn't expect that. I keep saying this, but kudos to Oda for making each ability something more than it first appears. I praise the same elements in My Hero Academia, how the abilities are expanded over time. Not floating away whilst hand-on animations explode around you on the spot. Exactly what I was bloody saying from 2 wins back. Didn't think she could physically go through people as well, but she can. They all kinda make for slightly odd villains. Moria is more chill than expected, Invisidude is more general, Hogback has the weird thing going with Sindri, and she's rooting him on sometimes. She's pulling a Satella from ReZero! Making her look so insanely creepy in the eyes there. Rarely does this ever happen to me, but it's making me feel uncomfortable in my chest oddly enough. Exactly what win number 10602 was about. She was completely bluffing and quite happy to let him know that. She's very different to normal villains, just like the others. I love it. Half is for his reaction and continued excellent voice acting, and the other half is finding out that she can also do this through solid objects. But why she ran away and didn't float through the floor is beyond me. What started off as an easier win has quickly turned into an odd stalemate between them now, yet more clever writing from Oda.
ゴーストラップラップ
I said it a couple times, and here's another. Just when you think we're done learning what abilities they have, he goes ahead and creates another. Just a plain old well-animated attack from Usopp. Not one I think we've seen either, and I'm such a big fan of it all being done by hand, which is rare in modern anime.
ゴーストラップ
これこそ俺の出番だと
Things going from bad to worse, and for some unknown reason, it hurts me probably most of all to see it happen to Usopp than anyone else. Maybe because to me he's the weakest? I don't know. It's the grand return of Sogeking! I liked this partly because I never thought that had come about again, but also because clearly his alter ego gives him the strength he's lacking right now. The fact that the song is playing, but also that he took out the bear, one of the largest obstacles.
私の名はソゲキング
Quick one again for just how different he does the voice.
落ち着け戦うんだウソップ君
Oh my goodness, the fact that he's using it to hype himself up quite genuinely. That's weird, but also very awesome.
最初から俺の攻撃が効かねえなら逃げる必要もなかったはずあの女を見失っちまったあの時
Ah, I was so stupid. I had this thought myself. Why flee if he can't hurt you? It's because he can, and I'm betting that's not her body. She's somewhere else hiding, I bet.
待っててめえどこを狙ってる
あれがお前の本体だ
Max wins for how perfect that was. Her freaking out, him figuring out what I just did, Oda writing it amazingly well that had me questioning things, and then that amazing music too. Chrono, the Swedish Muggle, Marcellus the Roman, Nexus 47, Admiral Nugget, Moody Blues, Cody Tiffany, Timothy Wilcox, Curtis Daniels Jr., Tomo Sandy, Henrik Jensen, Roll Tide West, David Fredericks, Olive Wharf, Furious Mo, Salt Lover, Joker Rims, Rimuru, Gamer Ludwig, Onks Caliph, Donald Newburn, Robert Jackson, Sukomi Aurorum, Starkip, Kai Wolfspring, Dante's Face, Miran Arjian, Cody Niemeyer, Snowy, Sarcastic Truth, Hitter the Wicked, Will Sass, Thrasher 340, Owen Halloran, Extinct Hero, Alexander Schwartz, Dante's Soul, Drake's Daughter, Rodies, Dragon Boy 1, Iso, Cameron, Mode of Rim, Tiger Lily Warrior, Knuckle Duster, Otter Ebodanisi, Christian Tarasa, Matthew Barr, Ruby Rose, Commander Cyrus, Cloud Garden, Luis Minito, Brian Bayot, Mini Masher, Garrett Vermeesh, Ryan DeVeries, Dragon Defender, Natsu Dragneel, A Joker XD, Willy Man, Laxor, TRS, Liam Gogati, Kai158, Mr. Firecool, Wacky Normal, Silence 44, Lionel Schultz, Kevin Elston, Nozomi, Nick Monaco, Marvin, Satakayari, Devikel, Christopher Willis, Laxus, Michael Lewis, Lazy Joe Beard, CD Mad Gamer, Cecilia, Nick Wyndham, Nuvagown, Guru, Cedric, Kevin 102, Sean, Darth Weirdo, Dragonstorm 35, Cumfroik, Kelnock, Marquez, Q-Flash, Brainless Ben, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Your Edvardson, Kepan, Kyle Jones, Peter Milligan, John, The Element Taylor Wars, Amadillo, Nick Pell, Warkeeper, The Epic Commander, Jason Davies, Likely Winter, Matthew Blancett, Oscar I. Lopez, Juffa 6263, Storm 970, Isel Caldera, Kevin Nauta, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Dan, Ali 50, Bird Without a Word, Chris Harris, 9028, Headshot Hunter, Brandon Creer.